Good afternoon everyone, welcome to Textiles News. Of course this event will discuss about the textile industry, which will be hosted by me, Joanna and my colleagues.
Matthew. The headlines discuss Asia-Pacific Rayon obtained a syndicate loan of 4.5 trillion Indonesian rupiahs. Joey siblings are welcome.
Thank you Matthew. Asia-Pacific Rayon, APR, an integrated rayon fiber producer, obtained a syndicated loan facility worth Rp 4.5 trillion, US $300 million, from a number of national and international affiliated banks. The funding is used to support the capital expenditures of companies operating in Pangkalan Kerinci, Riau Province, Sumatra, starting to operate in 2019 and inaugurated by President Joko Widodo in February 2020. APR plans to increase the production capacity of rayon fiber in the next few years to meet the growing potential demand for viscose staple fiber, VSF, and strengthen the Indonesian market and export markets abroad. Asia-Pacific Rayon is part of the RGE Group, which manages a group of resource-based manufacturing companies operating globally.
The second news came from the companies Srul and Pan brothers struggled to face the maturing debt.
What kind of information? Following the coverage, the textile industry in the country is still plagued by various negative sentiments. Apart from the invasion of imported textile products from China which in recent years has flooded the domestic market, the Indonesian textile industry has also been increasingly depressed due to the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. However, since the beginning of this year, the textile industry has had to face new challenges from rising raw material prices. API Secretary General Rizal Tanzil said that the increase in crude oil prices would automatically increase the price of textile raw materials, which are petroleum derivative products. Both Sritex and Pan brothers still have to face maturing debts which are quite large in value. Unfortunately, the liquidity of Pan brothers and Sritex is currently at a drag. That is why the two companies are still struggling to face the risk of refinancing amidst tight liquidity. Glancing at the potential of the national textiles and clothing industry. Following the coverage,
The data released for the years 2019 to 2020 shows that as one of the top 5 countries with the largest population in the world, only Indonesia is not included in the ranks of the world's cotton producers. Even though we know that cotton is one of the main commodities that are widely used in the world textile and clothing industry, you can imagine the general governance of this sector for companies that are not listed on the IDX. The potential in that direction is clear, especially now that there are many local brands in the downstream sector that are starting to look at the world, such as the executive owned by PT Delami brands Karisma Busana, Iger owned by PT Iger Indo Multi-Product Industry, and Damai Love Indonesia owned by PT Dinamika Anak Muda Nasional. There are also several fashion models from Indonesia who are also known by the international fashion world, such as Tracy Trinita, Ayugani and Nadia Hutagalung.
Indonesia, South Africa set up Textiles Partnership Company. Get on with him, his coverage.
Indonesian garment companies and South African micro, small and medium enterprises, UMKM, are working together to establish a partnership company, Pan Africa, which is engaged in textiles. Pan Africa is a joint venture between Indonesia's leading garment company, Pan Brother, TBK, and South African MSMEs, Faithfulness. The Indonesian embassy in Pretoria is committed to continuing to be optimistic in carrying out Indonesia's economic diplomacy, including in facilitating business relations between Indonesia and South Africa.
Bank Indonesia said that Indonesia's manufacturing industry began to recover in the first quarter of 2021.
Bank Indonesia, BI, estimates that the performance of the manufacturing or processing industry sector will increase and are in an expansionary phase. In terms of subsectors, the majority of respondents noted improved performance in the first quarter of 2021, especially in the food, beverage and tobacco subsector, the fertilizer, chemical and rubber goods subsector, and the textiles, leather goods and footwear subsectors, which are already in an expansion phase. The increase in PMI BI was driven by all of its constituent components, especially production volume, total order volume, and volume of finished goods inventories, which were in the expansion phase.
Indonesia's exports of apparel and textiles are predicted to decline.
Exports of clothing and textiles from the Southeast Asian nation of Indonesia are expected to decline during the first 7 months of this year, mainly due to the continuing impact of the COVID-19 pandemic in the country as well as major regions of the world. About 70% of textiles produced in Indonesia are exported to the United States, the European Union and the Middle East. Recently, the Indonesian Trade Promotion Center, ITPC, together with the Indonesian embassy in Mexico, made efforts to increase exports of home decor items and textiles to Mexico. The collaboration covers the Balinese clothing and textile market, as well as Indonesian furniture in Mexico.
We are at the end of the news, Joanna.
As the closing of our meeting this week, yes, Matthew. The last news is closed with news. Textile Association invites entrepreneurs to capture fashion shopping trends.
Following the coverage,
the Indonesian Textile Association invites national entrepreneurs to seize opportunities from the changing landscape of the fashion business, which is increasingly dynamic. The association also calls on business actors not to give up on the onslaught of fashion products from abroad in the country. Chairman of API Jemmy Kartiwa explained, in general, the trend of public spending on fashion products has changed drastically compared to what has happened so far. Currently, people's consumption of fashion products is no longer limited to certain moments or events. In 2020, the Ministry of Industry noted, so far the textile and textile products (TPT) industry has played an important role in contributing to the national economy through foreign exchange earnings and employment.